What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different. As you guys can see, I'm over here with a very nice view. This video will be done on the balcony. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the problem is that here in Miami, it decided to rain tonight, so we're going to have to improvise. So let's get into it. Now, let's roll. So this is my chart for the day. As you guys can see, the Nasdaq was very bullish. Now, we were able to actually understand that we were bullish, and I'm going to go over my trades that I ended up taking to show you guys. So let's get into it. I'm going to clear out my chart, and I'm going to come over into price action this morning. So I'm going to start out here at about 7:30 because this is when I first took my first ever trade. I did end up taking a trade last night, but that trade was very fast, and it was just these shorts from right here, and I ended up smacking my take profit. It was a nice trade, and yeah, I mean, like, I just saw that we were selling off. I really wanted to see us come down, and I got into those shorts. My take profit ended up hitting at this internal low. So first trade of the day, I was still bearish overall overnight, and we can see that we ended up selling off overnight. I wanted to see us drop down to 960. I wanted to see us fall to 24,960. Now, the thing is that we didn't get that, but what I did get was my first attempt at shorts that was right here. I entered, my stop loss was 50 ticks, and I am, as always, targeting 50 points or the new internal right there. And you guys can see that this played out. I actually did not TP here at 50 points. My take profit was at this low, and then it ended up reversing, and it ended up tagging me out in profit. It sucks. I was bearish. I wanted to see us move lower. Now, something to note, Asia session was pretty much a consolidation. And after we consolidated in Asia, you guys can see that we ended up taking out Asia high, and we ended up taking out Asia low in London. Now, this calls for a search and destroy. This now means that we should technically run up to London high. So this is now our target. Now, to verify this, we need to find out the reversal point. Where is price going to reverse at? So how do I do that? I go onto the 5-minute, and this is how I know that I'm bullish, by the way. The thing that I'm looking at is to see if the leg that forms after London is a bearish leg. If the leg that forms after London is a bearish leg, then that means that it is going from up to down, and that's going to give me an extension that's even lower, and that's where price is going to go to, hit, and then reverse. Example, here we have a bearish leg. What's the leg that I'm going to use? Well, I can't use this bullish one because this doesn't make any sense. We broke below it. So I'm using the bearish one. It's taken from this high down to this low. All right? Now that I have this, I understand that this is not balanced. This is good. Why is this good? Because it means that we are going to sell away from it. We're going to drop away from it, and market is going to come back up to rebalance it later on. So understanding that, I am now bearish. Okay, where am I bearish until? I'm bearish until -2, -4. All right, so here we ended up hitting -2. Take a look. We were at 25,026.75. This ended up being the low of the day. Right there. Now, here's how this ended up playing out. So we're watching this, and I really wanted to show you guys this, because when market was already right here in this moment, this is when I got stopped out. Now, I'm thinking, and this is the way that my brain is operating, I'm trying to decide, okay, I knew that we hit -2. I knew it, right? I had that FIB. And my logic was, all right, well, we hit -2, but we hit it at 7 a.m. That's pretty early. I would like to see us, resweep that low, and then we could get that. So I was still bearish in this moment. Now, yes, I could have most definitely taken longs, but here's the thing. because I'm bearish, I'm thinking, okay, where is the next moment where I can enter? Where is the next area where I can take a position? How am I going to find that? Well, I'm taking this manipulation, and I'm taking it from this low up until this body high. That's going to give me -2 right up here at 104.75. All right, -2.25 at 110.75, and I've also got my level up here. All right, so now I am bullish until then. See what happens. That ends up getting hit, so those longs would have banged had you wanted to take them. Now, we ended up rejecting out of here out of -2, and this is where I sent out in my Discord server that I was getting into these shorts. Now, remember, I enter the shorts, I enter with a 50-tick stop loss. Take profit is going to be 50 points. That's what I teach. You guys need to be doing this. You guys need to be having a 1 to 4. If you guys have never gotten a payout, this is the way to stack your accounts. This is the way to build. Right there, you would have already won once. Right here, you're also winning right there. The second time it ran 50 points. Now remember, we had that -2, but that's what I was targeting. I wanted to see us break that new low. Unfortunately, this thing ended up coming back up after running 50 points. It actually ran 60, 62, 63 points, and then it ended up ripping. Now, after it broke above, at this point, we understand we are bullish, and we are going to London high. So we play it out. The market actually ends up delivering to London high before the market even opens at 9:22, completing the search and destroy pattern and completing our daily market profile. So this now eliminates all the targets on the day. All targets are hit. We started out being bearish. Realistically, we should have understood, okay, yeah, we hit -2. We were now bullish, and we should have just only been looking for the longs, but I still wanted to get the shorts, and these are the fibs that I used to get them. I really liked this trade. I wish that this played out to the new low, but it is what it is. You're not always going to get a perfect setup, but it does make sense as to why we got the longs. I fully understand that as well, and I hope that you guys too, you guys do as well. We ended up putting in an SMT as well. Some things to note right here at this bottom. It's at this point that we now know, okay, fuck, we could get some kind of reversal going on here, and you know, we did. So yeah, that was the trades for the day. And that's how we ended up approaching the market today. Today was Wednesday, January 21st. And I actually want to show you guys something from the previous day about how we ended up getting our targets here as well. So the first thing that I want to do here, guys, is I want to come into 9:30. And this is our Tuesday recap now. This is for the day before. And I just want to include this because I didn't get to do a recap yesterday. I was busy, and I just want to show you guys how we ended up trading as well. So, coming into the day, right, you guys know we get onto the charts at 8. So, taking a look, what is the first leg that forms here after London? It's clearly bullish, so I'm taking this. I'm taking it from this low, and I'm taking it up to this high. All right, perfect. That is now going to give me -1 right up there, -2 right up there, -2.25 right up there. That gives me all of these targets where I now know that the market is headed towards. Now, what do I end up doing at 8 o'clock? All right, this is what we see. All right, we know the market is going to London high, okay? Now, I'm hopping onto the 1 minute. Things to note, this entire range here is not balanced. So what am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to keep drawing this, keep drawing this, keep drawing this until this entire thing decides to get balanced. That balance decides to be put in at 196.75, which is 0.5 of this range. Now, what ended up happening here was that we formed this manipulation that was at this top, and it was from here down until there. This ended up giving me -4 right there at 196. Again, this manipulation is drawn from the manipulation wick, and it's drawn to the body. Why am I taking this one? Because this is the highest point that we have. We don't have any higher point than this. As of this moment at 8 o'clock, we are selling off. We are making lower lows and lower highs. We are currently in a downtrend. Remember, how am I thinking? If we're currently moving down, where's the reversal point? There's always a reversal point. If we are moving up, where's the reversal point? Okay? Similar thing here. High to the low, my reversal point is now going to be at -4 or -2. One of those two is going to play. We're waiting, and bang, we end up hitting 196. Now, something to note as well, we never get the close below it. We never close below 196. It ends up just tapping it, and it ends up holding above it the entire time. It does not close above it. And this is where we are now able to get into our long position. And another thing that you guys would have been able to understand, because you would have waited for the reaction to see how it does before you enter. Another thing you guys could have done to get an even better entry would have been to take this fib from the top. Again, the same high that we used for the manipulation, this same high taken down until this low. This now gives you your -1, and it now gives you your -2. Your -2 is at 184.75. Take a look at where that is. That is at the bottom here. And you are able to, if you would like, enter down there, and you would have gotten the bottom tick, or you could have entered where I put 196, and you could have banked off of that. But this ended up playing out all the way, and I mean, our bias was pretty clear. It's yeah, it delivered to all of our take profit right there off of open. Pretty clean trade. Very simple. I really like this area because this is like, it just made sense. It had to pull back before we continued up. And remember, our full target was going to be right up here. We had our, from our 5 minute after London, I'm going to go back to it, all right? Because this is the overall fib that had to get rebalanced. I'm going to come back to here, and I'm going to draw this. This ended up giving me -2, -2.25. Remember that, guys. -2, that's where we're going. Bang, we end up hitting -2. Look at that, we reject it. Now what ends up happening? We end up putting in the high of the day there at 2.25, not taking Asia high, meaning that this is now a New York continuation. We dropped, we pulled back, we took out London high, and then we continued to sell off. And now taking a look at what happened afterwards, that gave me my -4, which was my 960 target. That's what we were bearish until, and that's how, that's where the market ended up going to. The market ended up dropping down, and it went all the way down to London low. So that was a very clean New York continuation. Again, those were those fibs in the morning. That was the recap from today, and that's the recap from yesterday. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you comment them down below. If you guys want to join the Discord server, the link for that is in the description of this video. But yeah, without further ado, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And yeah, peace.